Welcome to Straight Talk on Retirement, your no-hype source for financial advice and making informed choices about your retirement planning. Get on the phone to talk today at 969-KTRS, 888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS from your cell phone.
The opinions voiced in this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and JBL Financial Services, Inc. are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Now, here are your retirement coaches, Jeff and Aaron Lapidus.
Well, hello, St. Louis, and welcome to Straight Talk on Retirement. You're live and local, St. Louis's favorite financial call-in show. I'm Jeff Lapidus, president of JBL Financial Services. Our office are located in beautiful, sunny downtown Clayton, Missouri. I am a 35-plus year veteran of the financial services area, a fee-based financial planner, and investment advisor representative. And I'm joined this week and every single week by my favorite, oldest, prodigal daughter,
Aaron Lapidus, and I run the health insurance side of our practice. And we help our clients make smart choices about their money. The way we do that is by designing a game plan, a written step-by-step strategy, a real game plan that has several goals in mind.
First is to preserve, protect, and prudently grow the assets our clients have taken their entire lifetimes to accumulate. Second is to deliver a reliable stream of income, one that they can count on, so they can do all the things that they want to do during retirement.
And third is cost-effectively addressing their health care needs, like helping individuals enroll in Medicare and choosing the right plan to supplement their medical coverage.
And then when they're done enjoying their assets during their lifetime, we show them how to pass it on to the people they love, whether it's their spouses or children, that is, grandchildren, churches, or charities, whoever it might be, without Uncle Sam or the tax courts taking a big bite out of their money. And as their investment managers and financial advisors, we watch their money every single day to make sure that they're staying on track, and that's why they call us the retirement coaches. Catch that children part where I put a little emphasis there?
Yes. The audience knows I'm your child.
Yes, they do. One of my
I'm very aware.
My favorite oldest child.
Why, thank you.
You're
You're my favorite dad.
Well, that's great. I am your only dad, too.
As I am your only eldest daughter.
I'm glad we got that all straightened out this morning. But again, thanks so much for everybody today for tuning into the show. We always have a lot of fun things to discuss. What's more important to us is what's on your mind. So give us a call. Phone lines are always open. 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. Whether you have questions about your 401ks, your IRAs, we've got Medicare open enrollment coming up, healthcare, individual health markets. We're going to be getting those new rates very soon as well. I know you have questions on your mind. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Again, 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. And as a reminder, Aaron and I specialize in working with folks that are just like you, those between the ages of 55 and 75, those that would like to retire, or you're already retired. And as Aaron mentioned, we do create a game plan, a specific step-by-step strategy, so you can make your way, or enjoy if you're already retired, into we're hopeful, a fun, worry-free, financially secure retirement. That's what our goal and our job. And as your coaches, we do create that roadmap. We help our clients invest those assets so that we can deliver the results that they need so they can do all the things that they want to do. So that's the fun part, right?
That is the fun part.
And at the same time, just so you know, if you haven't figured it out, Aaron and I are practitioners. So you can always give us a call if you'd like to come in for a coaching session. 314-863-0008. Again, 314-863-0008. Or send us an email, jeff@jblfinancial.com.
Or Aaron@jblfinancial.com.
But now that we've got you thinking about the Internet,
you should probably log on to our website, download our newsletter, or sign up for our newsletter.
Well, how did they get there?
They go to jblfinancial.com. and click on the pop-up box on the left-hand side, put in your email address, and we will send you the newsletter every single month, or scroll down to the center of the page and click sign up on the newsletter section. And again, we will send it to you every single month.
And Erin and her staff do keep the last 6 to 8 months of those archived for your viewing, downloading, printing convenience. Erin, I guess we're in the last weekend of September, so talk about our newsletter.
Well, the first article, tips for stress-free air travel.
Woohoo! Stay away from the airport.
It'd be pretty hard to fly without.
I used that one last week.
It'd be pretty hard to fly without the airport. Life is for the living, and so is life insurance.
Exactly. Nice discussion about life insurance, how you can use it today, as well as in the future.
Medicare and your employer health plan. Another excellent.
Did you write that?
I did. It is one of the number one asked questions that I receive regarding Medicare every single week. I don't think a day goes by someone doesn't ask about Medicare and their employer plan. So it's a good article to take a look at, but you're still always free to ask the question. The last article is how do economists measure inflation and why does it matter to investors?
There you go. A couple of great articles. Again, we call it the Coach's Corner. Easy access. Go to our website, jblfinancial.com. Either catch that pop-up icon or go down to the bottom of the page. And if you do have a question for Erin or I that you'd like to answer.
Or you liked answered.
Or you like answered. Either one.
Yes.
You like it answered or you like it. Again, you can send that to us. Hit the contact us box and give us, again, of course, your name, email address, phone number. We'll be very happy to answer that for you. We try to answer all those within 24 hours because it's very important. You taking the time? We're going to take the time as well to answer those. Again, our website, jblfinancial.com. But there are other ways that people can keep in touch with us as well because we know that they want to talk to you.
That's right. On Facebook or Twitter, JBL Financial. Look us up. Posting articles, fun facts, tips of things to do around St. Louis and Illinois every single day.
That's right. We do have a full-time staff that does that. Facebook us, right?
Or follow us on Twitter, JBL Financial.
We love that. And what's nice is that on our website we have posted several new videos so you can actually see Erin or I so that, when you come in for a coaching session, you already one up on us, right?
That's right. That is right. And we have clips of the show as well as full-length shows to listen to. So many different ways to keep up.
And the cool thing is we're starting to make a stable or create a stable of different topics that we discuss on the show that we find are ones that we get a lot of questions about.
Exactly. So nice clips. So you don't have to listen to the full show. You can just.
And they're usually about, and we're talking about generally less than 2.5 minutes.
Well, depending upon how long we ramble on about certain topics.
Well, if I start, it can't take a while. Because sometimes I have to get an Erin story in.
Well, there are so many.
There are a lot of those. I was actually telling Josh one of these before he walked out, right?
That was a good one. It was a great one.
Yeah. It was the "You're not the boss of me" story, but we'll let that go. Actually, I am at this moment, but it seems to be slowly.
Excuse me, I thought we were partners.
That's what I meant. I was your dad. I was
you
was
were
your
my
boss.
Dad? You were
now we're partners. It's like, that's nice.
Can't send me to my room anymore.
No.
It's nice. That is nice.
You do have a nice room, though. Your office is pretty large.
Room. That is right.
So it is fun. But
I was thinking my own room in my own house, but the office is fine too.
I think you could still go to your room.
Great. Just let you wrap this up.
Exactly. So, again, our phone lines are open. We'd love to hear from you as you're listening to us. 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. And I would be remiss if we didn't start off the show by saying Happy New Year to those of the Jewish faith, like us, who've just celebrated the beginning of the year. Today is Yom Kippur, which means, truthfully, Erin and I, we're in temple. We're praying, and this is one of the most sacred, important days of the year. So, again, for all those folks that are out there today that are enjoying the holiday, we say happy holidays to you and a very happy and healthy New Year going forward, which is kind of fun. So, Erin, we do have some things to discuss today. We've already talked about a little bit about our newsletter. I thought it would be nice to have a discussion today about interview questions when you go visit an advisor. We do see anywhere from 2 to 4 4 of our listeners every single week, helping them design their game plans for retirement, as well as I know you're also meeting with other folks to help them in making good choices about their health care.
Exactly.
And, one of the things that some folks come in with a bunch of questions. They have things written down, other folks don't. And I think it's really important to be prepared when you go visit with an advisor, frankly, even with your own advisor, as a checkup. But at the same time, if you are making the decision to either consider employing an advisor to assist you or changing advisors, I think it's good for you to, if nothing else, to be able to set expectations.
Expectations are important, especially if you are looking for a long-term relationship with someone or with an advisor, that you set those expectations early, and also that you check in on them frequently just in case, one person isn't holding up their end of the bargain.
Right. I mean, and we know that, all of us are making decisions in the moment, and things do change. Either you're doing things to change, or things happen to you that changes occur. So I think it's important, again, to align your expectations as much as you can with the folks that you're working with. That way, what happens is the relationship, I think, becomes more meaningful. And meaningful, especially with a financial advisor, we think means profitable. Not only hopefully in making money, but at the same time also meeting those goals that you have over the long term. So the first question I would be asking if I was engaging a new advisor would be, could you describe for me your ideal client profile in terms of folks' age, working or retired, specific occupations? Do you have a minimum net worth that you're looking at working with somebody? And what are the kind of people that you work with? Do you prefer to work with folks that are collaborative with you? Do you prefer to work with folks that are do-it-yourselfers, or those that we would consider delegators?
Yeah, these are all important questions because there are quite a different variety of financial professionals in the industry, and many of them have taken the time to specialize in different segments of society. We only work with people that are getting ready to retire or already retired.
Or their kids.
Or their kids, right.
We help the kids out.
Sure, but primarily our goal is
Yes.
to work with individuals in retirement, and that would include their families, so I guess that makes sense as well. But there are plenty of advisors that work with people as you are preparing for retirement, and that from the day one when you begin working all the way up until retirement, so they help you accumulate your assets, which is a far different skill.
Yeah, because at the distribution phase, frankly, I think it takes a little bit more in-depth knowledge. I mean, you're really looking at taxes become an extremely important aspect in retirement planning.
When you can take assets, how you can take them, where you can take them from.
Those are the biggies. I mean, those are
just to start.
Those are just the biggies. And actually creating a income tax strategy in terms of making withdrawals is something that we consider to be an integral part of our practice.
Absolutely. And
liquidity planning, we're also talking about with many folks. We're also then talking about charitable planning. We also may be talking about educational planning.
Sure, estate planning as well.
That's the big one, which is when I'm done with my assets during my lifetime, how do I efficiently and frankly effectively have my wishes fulfilled when I'm no longer needing these assets? How do we pass it on to the people we love, whether it's, as we like to say, your churches, your charities, your children, grandchildren, whoever it might be, with the minimal amount of involvement from Uncle Sam or actually the probate courts.
That's right. So making sure your documents are in order, making sure your beneficiaries are designated properly, also making sure not only your documents in order, but they actually reflect your current wishes, because we see plenty of clients who had wills done at a pivotal point in their life, when they were married, when they first had children,
right.
And then they haven't reviewed them again until another pivotal point, which would be retirement. And that could be a 20 to 30-year gap for some people.
And some folks never had documents. Let's
right.
be honest with you.
Some people never had them created to start.
I mean, frankly, when you're getting closer to the distribution phase, it only makes sense to make sure that if you do have certain specific objectives with your money after your death, that you want these to be passed on to the people you love in an effective way. And maybe more importantly is, and they didn't have this 20, 30 years ago, are these medical directives these durable powers of attorney, so that you're able to direct those folks that are your professionals, like your physicians, like a hospital, like an attorney, to act in a certain manner if you happen to be unable to communicate your wishes, right?
Right, so having all of those documents in order and having them in the right places, so with your physicians, with family members that would respond in a crisis situation is important.
We should have got your sister to be a doctor. I mean, to be a lawyer instead of a doctor. I mean, I would say that we probably send folks out maybe 100 times a year
to have these very basic
right,
documents
because the
taken
documents,
care of.
exactly, and it's really important. I mean, having that legal foundation so that the house, if you want to think about it, this beautiful game plan, this house that we're building for you is really sitting on a firm foundation is extremely important. You definitely don't want it to fall apart the moment the plan has to go into action, and that's really why the legal documents are frankly just so important to have.
And that's just a few of the components of the things that many different advisors work with when they're working with retirees.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point really is that not everyone is as advisors. Not everyone is desiring or frankly equipped to be able to handle those type of levels of service for their clients.
Also,
and there's nothing wrong with that either, you know?
Of course, and also not all clients want that level of service from an
That's
advisor.
right.
So these questions really go both ways, because as much as you're interviewing a potential advisor, they're also interviewing you, because like we talked about, we'd like to work with our clients for the next 30 plus years. So making sure that we're both engaging in a relationship that's going to be beneficial on both sides, and that's going to, not just be beneficial in terms of producing results, but also, be a sound relationship, really depends upon if we're both looking for the same things.
And, it's interesting because it kind of brings me up to an example of something that happened yesterday. If you remember, Aaron and I, we had actually it was one of our neighbors, a small business owner, that we had stayed on friendly terms. We weren't friends, but the fact is that we were always very friendly. We saw each other on the street occasionally, and we would say hello. And we were, how's your business doing, etc. And he called to come in for a coaching session. He was concerned about his healthcare needs. Because his group had gone down basically to himself, and he needed Aaron to assist him, and he wanted Aaron to help him with the transition. He'd been listening to the show for many years, and that was kind of fun.
Yes.
But at the same time, he asked us to take a look at his investment portfolio. He was considering the possibility of selling his business in the near future, and was hoping that we might, because of the personal relationship we created over the years, he felt like we were somebody that maybe he could trust and could assist him in possibly investing the proceeds of his business to, again, obviously create an income stream for him to maintain his lifestyle. And he had a couple of small accounts to start with today.
Yes, he did.
And, we looked at these, and there wasn't a lot of money in them, which frankly didn't make that much of a difference, but he had told us that
he was making all of his investment decisions, and he was enjoying it.
Right.
Slightly, at least. When things were going well, he was enjoying it.
And so we had a conversation about this in detail, and frankly told him,
right now we are probably not the place you want to be.
Right. You ought to be working with a discount broker, someone where you can actually make those trades as you're invested in wanting to do this in a lowest cost environment. Why pay an advisor
when you're keeping your own counsel?
Exactly. I mean, we weren't going to be providing individual stock tips, etc., but he was having fun doing it, and we said have fun as long as you want to, but after you've made that distribution, you have to really ask yourself the question, do you want to continue to be responsible for making the investment decisions on this money? If so, awesome. Go and do your thing, and if you decide that you want to delegate this responsibility,
we're here for you then too.
That's right. We're here for you, and we'd love to. And he sort of went through a whole discussion about, I don't want to do this. I might like to have fun money, what I'm doing today, but frankly, I really want someone else to be responsible for this. And we said, that's great. When you sell your business and you have your dough, you know where to come.
Exactly, because we work with individuals who truly are delegators because they want to go out and enjoy their retirement, do all the things that they plan to do, and we're there to help facilitate making sure those things can happen.
And it doesn't happen very often, and I guess they may get this from the show, but frankly, if you enjoy and you feel like you're successful, On the investment side, the investment function, you don't need a financial advisor.
No, also it's truly just an additional cost to you because
Right.
you're going to pay someone, whereas you can take your accounts to, like you said, a discount broker, and you're just charged a ticket charge
Right.
to make your trades, which is going to be the lowest cost environment for you. You might have an
Right.
IRA fee on an annual basis, but most custodians, that's the place that's holding your money,
Right.
have that.
And then obviously there are people that are in the middle that are looking for investment ideas, that are looking for stock pits as an example, those type of things. And that's really where a large broker would probably be a really good source of information for you in creating a relationship like that, because you're really talking about then creating a transactional relationship. Nothing wrong with them. It's cool if that's really the type of relationship you want. That's great. What's important here is understanding, if you're talking to an advisor, what is his ideal client profile? Does he want to work with delegators? Does he prefer to work with people that are collaborative? Or alternatively, and then secondarily, as we talked about, what's the skill set the person has? Does he have the skills, he or she, obviously, obviously have the skill set to be able to take you as far as you really need to and you want to go?
And also, I think a lot of those answers or a lot of those questions will lead to the additional questions of how do you communicate and how often do you communicate with your clients, because if you're working with someone on a transactional basis, they're only going to call you when there's a transaction to be made. But if you want to work with someone that's providing a higher level of service, then they should also be providing a higher level of communication.
Right, because obviously as someone who works by charging a fee, we charge 0.25% per quarter for the assets that we manage, and so our goal is pretty simple: make your money grow.
That's right. And also be there to answer those questions that you want answered when you want them.
In all of our financial planning advice, we don't charge an extra fee for that. We couple that all in our investment management fee. So it's all kind of good. At the same time, once you've kind of figured out where you want to be, the second thing would be is, what are the benchmarks that you need to use for yourself to measure success in a relationship with clients, right? That's something that you would be asking somebody. How do you measure success with clients? I think it's pretty easy to say, I made you a certain amount of money, or we're doing goal. I mean, truthfully, it ought to all come back to goal achievement, right?
Exactly.
Are you getting is your principal being maintained? Are you getting the income you need when you need it? Is your portfolio liquid enough to deal with emergencies, et cetera? And for us, it's called helping our clients answer all those questions, because the truth is that with most of the folks we work with, either they don't have attorneys, or they may have one, but their attorneys
passed away
a lot of times. They typically don't use CPAs because of the use of TurboTax or H&R Block or something, which really they're not they're bookkeepers.
And most people have fairly simple tax returns, so TurboTax is an excellent tool. Right. It's also usually less expensive. I mean,
their biggest stable of professionals, hopefully it's not too bad, is usually physicians.
Of course. Well,
so therefore they, what they're looking for in their financial life in many cases is they want someone to be truly a coach, someone that can help coordinate, work with their other advisors, in many cases help them secure those advisors, keeping everybody on the same page. And then when the game changes, be in a position where we can change our game plan, not only because of what's happened to them personally, but obviously what happens financially in the markets, so they can continue down the road, hopefully to a fun and smooth and worry-free retirement.
So I think if a client was asking this question of us, I would think that our answer, aside from what you mentioned, would be truly maintaining the game plan that we laid out for them, because that's really the basis of the relationship, is we design a game plan to follow, and as things do change, and we should be prepared to make changes to the game plan, but truly staying on the track that we created and agreed upon, because that's truly the basis of the relationship.
Right, and as you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, also, Aaron, that relationships are also based on communications. And I think everybody wants to be communicated either in terms of frequency or in certain ways. I mean, obviously with the Internet today, it's kind of cool. Not only do we communicate by email with clients, but we also do it by Skype.
Sure.
By FaceTime, et cetera, which is kind of neat. We also have face-to-face meetings with folks as well. And I think it's important to be able to touch our clients as often as they want to be touched, and then obviously be there at the times that, frankly, they need us because stuff does change, right?
Of course, and I think it's important to communicate in the ways that our clients like to be communicated with. We have several clients that don't like to use email for communication.
Right.
And so, being cognizant of that is important as well, because although we can send out emails on a weekly basis, if that's not the type of relationship you're looking for, it doesn't feel like communication at that point. So it's important to focus on those things.
Right. And I guess another question that I would be asking is, what are the two most important things that you've learned in working with your clients over the last 5 to 7 years?
Well, this is a good one. How would you answer this one?
Well, I've learned a couple things. First thing is I've learned that things change in people's lives, whether it's their health, whether it's relationship with children, whether it's financially. No matter how, I like to, again, I've called it the yellow brick road, but whenever we create a game plan that we think fits, we're doing this in the moment. This is where things look. And I found that having and building flexibility into our plan so that we can deal with these bumps in the road, whether it's, either a bump or the Grand Canyon, is something that's important. And generally, you don't know these things are going to happen, but you have to be in a position where you can deal with them.
Also, there could be, we always talk about the negative bumps in the road, but
right.
they could also be positive things that have happened that just change the game plan, opportunities that come along. People retire early and then they find that they have an opportunity to be involved in a business or go back to work, and that changes the game plan.
And even the good ones, which are somebody gets an inheritance.
Oh, that as well. Somebody comes.
That.
Well, that's a bittersweet one usually, but
right.
Still, we always think about negative things impacting your game plan, but
right.
there are plenty of opportunities in which we're going to have to change course, and it's not for a negative reason.
Yeah, and so, Aaron, I guess what you were alluding to, I would call them game changers.
Game changers.
I mean, there are situations that occur that are game changers, and we may, frankly, be facing a couple now. Number one is that we are looking at the potential, and I use the word potential because 6 months ago I would have said for sure healthcare change. Right,
things change.
Exactly. Healthcare reform.
After yesterday, that's a disappointing moment.
I do believe that at some point in time, we'll see the current system reformed for most folks, and we're talking about the pre-Medicare folks.
That's right.
Medicare's really, they're not messing with that.
Medicare's been quite stable for a very long time, and the nice thing, and I say this, and I'm sure we could anyone that I've met with could attest to this, because I am asked this question quite frequently: is, are you concerned about what might happen to Medicare? And my answer is, I'm not concerned, because just like Social Security, people over 65 are generally the only ones that vote, even in elections in which you see high turnout in younger generations.
Proportionally, they're a large proportion.
Proportionately, they are always the largest block, and no one, not a single, because at the end of the day, every congressman and senator has a job, and they don't want to lose it. And the quickest way to lose their job is to upset the people that put them there. And, cutting the promise that this country made to our seniors would be a difficult blow to any campaign, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. And you're right. I mean, Medicare continues there's a price associated with it. We know that the contributions that we make during our working lifetimes to Part A, part of our withholding taxes, as well as what people pay for Medicare Part B and any supplemental premium they have, they don't come near paying the cost of health care.
Not even close.
So this is a big government subsidy that's occurring, and, don't mess with my money, right?
That's right. Don't. And so I'm comfortable with the confidence that I have in Medicare. So.
Yeah, and I'm also confident that what will occur is that they'll come to some conclusion or revamping of the plans that are currently in place, and they'll start moving down the road in a positive direction. But, tax reform is another one that, in theory, is looming.
And that could be a game changer for many people.
Right. Not generally a decision about can I retire or would I retire, but from an investment point of view, what assets and what strategies may have been tax preferred or tax advantaged with the old tax packages, and then where in the future does it make sense? I mean, as an example, just, peripheral one, but we do have a lot of clients that are also our business owners, right?
That is true.
And what happens is, we're thinking about, we're a C Corp. Do we go to an S? Do you need to change your corporate form as a way to mitigate the effect of taxes? Because we know it's totally legal to attempt to avoid paying taxes. It's illegal to evade. So
being smart about the tax code is legal. Being deceptive about it is not.
And frankly, it's like anything else in life. I mean, there are games that are laid in front of you.
Some more boring than others.
Right, but I mean, the tax code, planning for retirement is a game. I mean, it truly is. I mean, it's a game which is integrating a lot of different parts, whether it's Social Security, whether it's pensions, whether it's required minimum distributions from retirement plans, etc. It's a game of putting these pieces together, a puzzle. And, as the rules change, our job is to frankly see, can we make effective decisions and recommendations to clients so they can take best advantage of the rules? Because it's their money. And
that's the goal,
right,
is to take best advantage of the rules that have been laid before us.
And let's be honest, it's fun.
It is fun to know. Well, it's fun when you know the rules of the game. Yes.
It's really fun to do this. I mean, it's a war game. It's a war game for somebody's benefit. So this is a blast. And I hope folks get that from the show. I mean, the truth of the matter is that we're geeks.
We enjoy it. We
enjoy this stuff. I mean, we love this. It's an interesting game, and if you really love what you do, then what happens is that hopefully you develop some expertise over a period of time, and you're able to help folks to do that. So we know that there are a lot of people out there listening. You're concerned about retirement. You're concerned. You've been fed. You've been in the Kool-Aid machine. I have to put $1 gazillion away. I have to have all this money, and I'm not going to be able to retire. And inflation's going to eat me up, and all the healthcare, etc. It's an algebra problem. I mean, it comes down to it's a game. It's an algebra problem, and with most folks getting that clarity, getting that confirmation that their thinking is good, really, I think helps them get on the road to retirement. And I think that, that's an attitude thing.
Absolutely.
That would be something that I would certainly be, I don't know if I would ask an advisor about, but I would certainly, I would be observant.
Clued in.
That's right.
Keyed in, rather.
I would like to be keyed into, what is their philosophy about retirement? What are the biggest concerns that they have for clients? What would be their biggest concerns after meeting with me, after finding out my information? Where are the hurdles that we need to jump? What are the things that we need to work on? If you had to go from 1 to 10, am I 1 being
not going to retire with us,
and 10 being like Mick Jagger?
Super rock star.
Super rock star. And we do have folks that come in yesterday. Are we rock stars? I'm like, you're cream. Okay?
Cream.
I said,
again with these old band records.
Exactly. Well, they appreciate it because they're my age. You're 60. You know who Cream was, all right? They actually had 3 records. But you're not the Rolling Stones. How do we get to be? The guy said, I want to be Eric Clapton.
Hey, that's a good one. I've heard of him before.
I said,
Layla. I've heard that song.
I said, oh my God. Okay. So how do we get there? Well, we decided this was a path that we needed to take for you to become Eric Clapton. We needed to deal with debt. We need to deal with debt, and if you want to think about it, unencumbering your cash flow so that more was coming, so that what was coming in was able to cover things much better, so that we were able to grow and continue to, grow your money in such a way so that we get farther and farther into safety zone. And that's really, again, for us comes to
the farther you are into the safety zone, the more larger of a rock star you become. But, okay, so that was the first thing that you learned over the last 5 years working with clients, that things change. What would the second thing be?
No one has the corner on all the good ideas.
That is a good one. Now, did you learn that in the last 5 years working with clients specifically, or I feel that was a dadism from quite some time ago?
Yeah, that's been a dadism forever. I think that I know that as the environment changes, that I'm continuing to learn. And that my thoughts, my preconceived notions, the things that I did 5, 10, and frankly 15 years ago, working with folks, it's morphing. I know that it's morphing, and what I'm attempting to do is help my clients morph their portfolios, if you might say, in such a way so that we're learning how to do a better job with managing accounts. And frankly, the tools have changed.
And the rules change over time
the
as
rules
well.
have changed, and frankly, the tools have changed. We now have better tools than we've ever had for assisting them investing their money, manage money, which really were not there even 5, 10, 15 years ago. Better tools, less expensive tools, and again, all that kind of comes down to making your algebra better. Lower expenses means a lower hurdle to jump, assuming all things are equal, helps them get further down the road. And, again, my whole idea, you and I have discussed this many times here, and we talk about the vault.
How much money you should have set aside. Right. Easy access, liquid,
and
fully liquid.
And I would definitely tell you, if I had to get away from my dadism, I would just say that the second thing I've learned is that as folks age.
This is 2B.
Right, 2B. Their desire to hold cash
increases
exponentially. Now, naturally, most of them are a little distressed at this point because the cash that they're holding and maintaining, not just for emergencies but for other things,
is not doing much.
No, it's not. I mean, you're getting 1/10 to 1% on the money, which is
if you're lucky,
painful.
1%. Yes.
Well, it's painful because if you're getting 1%, you're really earning virtually nothing after taxes.
Or negative when you factor in inflation.
Exactly. So it's painful, but I've learned that there is a desire to hoard cash, and frankly, I'm watching your mom, and she loves to hoard cash. She always has.
So little do you know.
Yeah, we had that conversation
before. Your mom probably has is the mattress firm?
Yeah, she has like the vault and the sub-vault and the
subterranean vault.
But a lot of folks do that as well. I've also learned, I will tell you that the third thing that I've learned is that there is a difference in thought process in planning for 2-bucket families versus 1-bucket families. So
a 2-bucket family would be they keep their assets separated?
And their income flows reasonably separated. And then what happens is that they collaboratively get together and decide you pay for this, and they kind of pay things off. Either put money into a common fund or they've kind of delegated your pay.
Like you pay the rent, I'll pay the utilities. Do you find those families are more prone to have been second marriage families when they're 2 buckets?
Well, I would say 90% of the time, second marriage families are like that because the folks have been independent and they prefer to do. It's almost like a business arrangement, which is cool. Sometimes that's even better.
Especially when there are kids involved as well.
Yes, but there also are 1-bucket families like mine,
where your money is mom's money and mom's money is mom's money.
Exactly right. And also, what happens is generally one person is the quarterback. One person is the financial person, and the other person pays attention to real stuff. One person pays the bill, the other person doesn't. And I think that's important too.
Also, to key in on that, because you definitely have different conversations with different members of the family based on those things, or you just talk to people slightly differently when they're like you said, the quarterback or the accountant of the family versus the person that's dealing with possibly the insurance and things like that.
Yeah, I think the last thing you might want to ask folks is, how do you get paid?
That's an important question because not only does it answer the number one question, how do you get paid and how much, but you can determine what type of skills and licensing they have based on the answer to that question.
Right. So I guess we've had about a 15-minute conversation about questions you might consider asking advisors. And then hopefully what's happened is, for those folks that are listening, those that might be even considering coming and visiting with us with a coaching session, they kind of have a pretty good idea about what they get when they come in.
That is very true.
Right?
They've been listening.
Right. I mean, what happens is that we as advisors, and that would be the other question is, what do you see in a relationship? We're interested in folks that are delegators. We're interested in folks that frankly want to and appreciate and are willing to receive professional advice. And actually, number one is
they're nice.
They're nice. You have to be nice. We want to work with folks that we feel like we can look across the table at and smile, have some laughs, share some stories.
But also be accountable.
Laugh and cry with, really. Yeah. As a matter of fact, and do that. I mean, that's the kind of relationship that we're interested in having with folks. It isn't, what's the stock pick for today?
Well, we're a family business, if you didn't notice. And I think we feel like we're inviting people into our family, and we hope that they would invite us into theirs.
And that's really what happens. We like to think they let us sit in the back seat for the ride.
That's right.
And it's a lot of fun. So I think what we're going to do is continue the fun. Again, phone lines are open, 969 KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. Aaron and I will be right back after these very short and brief messages.
Now, back to Straight Talk on Retirement on the Big 550 KTRS. Here's Jeff and Aaron Lapidus.
That's right. We're back here with some more Straight Talk on Retirement. I'm Jeff Lapidus, the retirement coach.
I'm Aaron Lapidus, the health insurance coach.
We're waiting. We're wanting to answer your questions at 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. And as a reminder, if you'd like to contact Aaron or I after the show, easy to do. Pick up the phone, 314-863-0008. Again, 314-863-0008. Go to our website, jblfinancial.com. Click on Contact Us. Send us a message. We're happy to contact you. We're seeing a lot of folks here, aren't we?
It is a great time of year.
It is awesome. We just love this.
Summer is finally over.
Amen. We're getting into the third quarter. It's sort of like golf. We're into Amen Corner.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
That's the last 3 holes of the course, of the round.
Okay.
So what happens is this is crunch time, and I know we're seeing about 10 folks over the next 2 weeks, which is really fun.
Well, also aside from the third quarter, it's people are saying new folks, and people are thinking, hey, the year is almost over. Is this my year? Is this the time?
That's right. And I was going to say one of our clients who we love.
We love
all of them, but that we really enjoy working with. We sent him our questionnaire. It's really just 2 pages, real simple, a lot of white space. And the question is, what is your anticipated date of retirement?
As soon as you tell me, Jeff.
Exactly. That's what he wrote in. So we had a great laugh about that.
His wife had less of a laugh. She
yes.
was not interested.
But what the fun part is that Aaron and I promise, you come in for a coaching session, within 45 minutes, we're going to answer that question. We're going to put it up on the board. We're going to play. We like to play This Is Your Life. We're going to go through the algebra.
We're going to go through algebra you can understand.
That's right. We're going to go through the whole cash flow analysis right in front of you. And what will happen is we're going to answer that question. Can I? Will I? And the question we're most often asked is,
when?
Am I a rock star?
When can I be a rock star?
Right. And for many folks, we find that they actually can go earlier than they thought.
Which is always fun. Those are the best.
It's fun. And for most of those folks, they don't quit. No, they don't retire. What they do is they take that back. And so, as we like to say to them, is that when the other side, when something else is calling you, more compelling than going into work and getting that paycheck, having those benefits, when something else is so compelling that it makes you want to give those up, that's when you're going to retire.
And also we see the other side where people aren't necessarily, we've seen a lot of changes in the job market in St. Louis over the last several years, and not necessarily people losing jobs, but when companies are acquired or new management comes in, people that are close to retirement, they think, hey, do I really want to go through having a new manager, learning new HR rules? It's nice when they get to know, and we just had one of these meetings this very week, that they are able to retire so they can work on their own terms, which potentially makes going to work a lot easier when you know.
They sort of had a famous line in a movie about that, right? Take this job.
I don't. Is that? You allowed to say that on the radio?
Well, I said show. I didn't say anything.
Fair.
Of course, we're not going to get in trouble.
Okay.
But I think it's important that we do, because this is getting very close to open enrollment season, October 15th. Aaron, it's the 29th. 29th?
It's actually the 20. It's the 30th.
It's the 30th.
It's the 30th.
It's the 30th.
One mere day away.
One day.
This is not my fault. This is not my fault.
No, it's
everyone.
not. Well, the thing is, it's not one day over in Europe. It's already been next day.
That is fair, but
so can we?
The Center for Medicare Services has no authority in Europe, so I don't believe that they would.
They listen to you too, so I think we'll wait.
They do. Unfortunately, it is not my fault, like I've said a few times, that I can't discuss specifically the new plan designs. The Center for Medicare Medicaid Services requires that we wait until October 1st to discuss the new plan, so less than 24 hours away. However, open enrollment begins October 15th. And so what I thought would be a fun Smart Choices About Your Healthcare segment would be...
Sponsored by our friends of Aetna, right? Coventry Healthcare, Missouri.
An Aetna company. I thought it would be fun to go through what a coaching session might be like if you wanted to come in during open enrollment and talk about your benefits. Just a little
Well, I wouldn't know
version.
what that is because I'm not invited.
You generally are, the hour-long becomes much longer when you're there. So we try and keep the coaching sessions to an hour. So we're gonna abridge the coaching session because, unfortunately, the number one reason why I think people find so much benefit out of coaching sessions, the healthcare coaching sessions, is we ask for a questionnaire in advance. It's even shorter than the financial questionnaire. It's 1 page. It just asks for your physicians, your prescriptions, and during open enrollment, it asks for your current coverage. And then what I'm able to do is tailor the meeting towards what you currently have versus what a potential better option might be. And also, if I find there isn't a potential better option, you get to leave with the clarity of knowing you've got the right stuff.
And at the same time, Aaron, for those folks that are newly trying to enroll in Medicare or eligible for Medicare, this is a great process because what you're able to then do is you can say, here are all the plans that fit you.
Exactly.
Here's what we might recommend in terms of either the one side or the other side, whether it's a traditional plan or a Medicare Advantage, and put them in a position where they save gazillions of hours of reading and worrying and paperwork, etc.
Because
and it's fun.
Even when you've been enrolled in Medicare for several years, really the reality is you spent the majority of your life just enrolling in whatever policy your employer offered to you, or maybe you had 2 or 3 choices if you worked for a larger company. And now when you're Medicare eligible, the entire world opens up to you essentially. You have, a dozen lettered traditional policies to choose from. They all have slightly different benefits. You have Medicare Advantage plans to choose from. They all have slightly different benefits. What are the advantages and drawbacks to both of those? So it can be a very long process. And what our goal is to do is take your information, pare down to what the best choices for you are, give you your options and say, this is my recommendation, but at the end of the day, what's making you most comfortable, let's go that way.
And, this is so efficient because if you can receive this information before you're physically sitting down with somebody, you're ready.
That's
you're prepared.
Right.
You're ready. You don't need to. Certainly, you can.
I don't have to take it back and look things up. I say, let's talk. We don't have to have an esoteric conversation about Medicare. We have the conversation about Medicare. What is it? How does it work? But then also, what are these plans? And more importantly, how do they work for you?
Exactly. So you can give them their numbers, and you have a big whiteboard also in your office.
That's right. We draw.
We do a lot of drawing. We like to do that because we think pictures can tell a story. And then put people in a position where they can make good decisions.
That's right. So if we were having a mini coaching session, the first thing I would say is there are 2 ways that you can access your Medicare coverage: traditional Medicare or a Medicare Advantage plan. You're going to take your A and B benefits from the government. That makes up about 80% of your medical expenses. So all we're going to do today is figure out how to cover the last 20%.
And drugs.
And in addition, on top of that, prescription drugs. I kind of like a telemarketer here. You threw me off on the little spiel. I'm just kidding. When we get there, as many of you recall, the Bush administration added prescription drug coverage. They didn't really integrate it into Medicare. They just threw it on top. So what that means is it's not truly a part of A and B. It sits to the side, and that would be the case if you choose a traditional Medicare policy or if you choose a Medicare Advantage plan.
Gotcha.
So if you take a traditional policy, I like Plan G. What that means is you are going to pay a monthly premium, about $150 a month once you are first aging into Medicare. You're going to have a $180 Part B deductible, so that means the first few out-of-pocket expenses are going to be yours up to the $180. Once you hit $180, you don't pay again for the rest of the year for anything but your prescriptions.
Cool.
So visits to the doctor, labs, x-rays, admissions to the hospital. After you hit that 180, you have 100% coverage.
So let me ask a question here.
Sure.
That's Plan G. I've heard that there's also a Plan F.
There is a Plan F. It will be going away in 2020, and the only difference between Plan F and G is that F doesn't have the $180 deductible, but it's more expensive on a monthly basis than if you were to pay out the $180.
Is it more than $180?
It is.
Oh, so why would anybody do F?
Well,
other than they don't know.
Well, they don't know, and also it's a very easy sell for people because all you have to do is say this is, show your card and go is how I've heard it described, because you pay your monthly premium, you're never going to reach into your pocket for anything but prescriptions. But for most people, you may not even hit that $180 in a year, and I know that sounds hard to believe, but your annual visit to the primary is covered at no extra charge to you. All of your preventative care is covered at no extra charge to you. And if you're a female, that includes women's wellness, so your annual visit to the OB or the GYN is no additional charge to you. So you could go through a very average year, see if the physician once or twice, and pay almost nothing, even with a traditional Medicare policy on top of that premium that you pay every month.
Gotcha.
So why pay the insurance company more than you need to? Then we're going to add
one of my favorite things.
Exactly. Then we're going to add prescription drug coverage. An average baseline policy is about $25 in 2017. So you're looking at $175 a month in premium every single month. That's about $2,100 a year. The keys to these traditional supplements are you have no referrals. There is no network. So that means you can see any physician that accepts Medicare, and you don't need to request permission from a physician to do so. But you have no extra benefit. So you don't have any throw-in things like silver sneakers, which we'll talk about in a second, or vision or dental. So when we describe these policies, think of it as you're paying up front. You pay a monthly premium. You see the doctor once a year. You see him 100 times a year. You're going to pay the same $2,100. That premium's going to go up every year because it is a premium, and they always do.
Gotcha.
But now, if we take a look at Medicare Advantage, you're still enrolled in Medicare. You have your A and B benefits from the government. But what happens here is we look at a policy that is much more like what you were used to when you were working, a managed care policy. If you choose a plan that is an open access HMO, so a policy that has a very broad network, but still has a network for you to work within, which most people currently do,
right,
on individual or group health insurance, you're going to pay nothing every month.
Nothing.
There is no additional premium. You get your prescription drug coverage included, and instead of paying a monthly premium like you do with traditional Medicare, you're going to pay co-pays when you go to the doctor, co-insurance when you are admitted to the hospital, but you have a maximum out-of-pocket. In 2017, the maximum out-of-pockets were around $3,000 a year, depending upon which carriers you selected. Really, when we're looking at the different carriers in Missouri and Illinois, it comes down to network and the prescription drug formulary included in the policy.
Network, i.e. physicians, really.
Exactly. So that's why it's so important that we take a look at your physicians before you come in, because I'm not going to talk about Essence or Coventry or United if one of those policies don't fit you. We're only going to talk about the policies that allow you to keep every physician you've listed. And then when you say, oh, I forgot 3 more, we look and make sure that those physicians fit as well.
Well, then the other one is a PPO, right? There's a PPO version?
There is a PPO version of these policies, which means that you have in-network benefits that closely resemble an HMO-style plan, co-pays, co-insurance. You have out-of-network benefits, so if you decide you want to see a physician that is out-of-network or a physician that doesn't accept Medicare at all but is providing you a Medicare-covered service. So, if you went to a homeopathic individual, someone providing homeopathic therapy, that's not going to be covered under Medicare. But if you happen to want to see a boutique physician, they no longer accept insurance, so they're not accepting Medicare, you can still submit the claim to Medicare, and it will be covered at about 30% for you.
Cool. So we're looking here at, I guess this question is, pay up front.
Or you can pay as you go, which is the cool thing about the Medicare Advantage plans. You only pay when you actually consume services. The $3,000 out-of-pocket maximum is not a deductible. You have a zero deductible from day one. So some of the policies have a $250 copay for outpatient surgery, so cataracts or glaucoma. If you have that surgery on day 1 or day 350, it's going to be $250. You don't pay up to the maximum out-of-pocket like you would a deductible. So you have some really nice benefits from day 1, But the other cool thing about Medicare Advantage is many of them add extra benefits for you, which include silver sneakers. So that's a gym membership to any participating gym. You get a basic membership, so that can be $25 to $50 a month you're saving. You also can receive an annual vision exam, annual dental services that are preventative, and all of those things are not included under a traditional Medicare policy. So it all comes down to what you're more comfortable with, and also what fits your current needs better. How much services are you consuming? What's on the horizon for you? But also, let's look at your health over the next 30 years, not just on an annual basis.
That's smart.
And think about how are we going to maximize your benefits, but also how are we going to control your costs?
Well, and a nice part is that this is one of the very few do-overs that you can have when it comes to making an important decision, isn't it?
Exactly, because your Medicare supplemental, the plan you choose to supplement your medical coverage is not a one-time decision. Annually, you're able to decide if you want to make a change, and we're here to help you do that.
Well, and again, that's really important. And the cool part is that if you're now getting eligible, if you're becoming eligible for Medicare, or alternatively, if you're eligible in open enrollment.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone is eligible for open enrollment. If you have a supplement and you want to consider Medicare Advantage, or you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you want to see, hey, is there a better one out there for me? Or I've been in the PPO, I want to try an HMO, vice versa. These are all opportunities. No medical underwriting. That means guaranteed issue. You don't have to answer any health questions to make these changes.
Okay, so I'm hooked. What do I do?
You give us a call, 314-863-0008. And you set up an appointment with the lovely Gail in our office, and she will schedule a time that is convenient for you.
And we'll also make sure that we send out the questionnaire so that you can return that prior to 24 hours of visiting with Erin so she can be prepared and ready to see you.
That's right. Ready.
And if you are between the ages of 55 and 75, you think, it's time to visit the coaches. Time to get my game plan in place. It's time to check my health care to make sure that all my foundations are in place and get the confirmation that I need so I can move on to a fun retirement. You know what to do. Pick up the phone. Give us a call, 314-863-0008, or you can send us an email, jeff@jblfinancial.com, or the more popular,
Aaron@jblfinancial.com.
What should we say?
See you next week.
The opinions voiced in this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and JBL Financial Services, Inc. are separate entities from LPL Financial.
This is Jeff Lapidus, the Retirement Coach. We'll be back next week at 10 a.m. here on the Big 550 KTRS.